Hello everyone, it's iracing over here with some iracing footage. Lights out and away we go. We're racing at VIR on the north track configuration. Going into turn 1 over here, I'm going to have a bit of a disadvantage. Going to try and take the outside to see if I can get back into P2, lose out a bit and settle into P3. Still got some cars behind me though, got a little bit of stuff going on in the back there too. Able to stay inside enough, give room for the other driver, as I still hold on to third position. For those wondering, this is the BMW M2 series, one of the two rookie series for sports cars. I decided to drop back into it just to go ahead and get out of a little rut I've been having that I'll talk about later in the video. Anyway, here we go into one of the turns for the north track configuration. Try to do a little bit of a dive bomb, doesn't work out for me. Try to stick to the inside. Other guy goes off a bit there, and then a Umumusumi player also goes off of that same spot there. So now that the lap settled down a bit, let's talk about why I decided to go back into rookies. Basically, at the beginning of last season of iRacing, I've been having a good chunk of imposter syndrome. At the end of season 3 of 2025, I managed to obtain my A rank license for sports car racing. I do have to admit that a good chunk of why I got that A license was while I had already secured B just on racing alone. I saw that I had an opportunity to just farm safety rating through doing time trials, so I did that. So that's how I got the A license. Gonna divert to racing action over here. Red car doesn't make this turn very well, so I sneak on by and take second place. So now I'm up to second place, and the guy in first is still a bit off, but we're gonna go take a look at his viewpoint because he's about to make a mistake over here, an unforced error. He dips his toes into the grass, slips out, tries to save it from hitting the wall, but he hits it, and as he tries to come back onto the track, I pass him and take the lead of the race. Okay, so now that the lead's taken, time to go back to talking about my imposter syndrome. I got the A license after the end of season 3 because I did a double promotion. So at the end of one of my endurance races near the end of season 3, my SR was high enough that I could go and just farm some time trials to get over 4 so I could get promoted to B. And then I did some more time trials so that way I could just sneak on into the A license. Unfortunately, this meant that I started season 4 of this year on a very middling 2.2 SR. Couple that in with a few bad races, and I just did some time trials to get myself back above 2 so I didn't lose the A license, and I basically didn't do a lot of racing for season 4 of this year. I'm gonna jump a little bit ahead into lap 3 of this race over here. Get spun out here by this guy who was trying to take P1 from me. Managed to get myself back on the track. Here's what it looked like from my cockpit view. I thought I had time to make that maneuver safely. You could argue maybe it wasn't, especially if you take a look at the top-down view. This definitely could have ended a lot worse for the people who were coming up that hill. Luckily, the worst thing that only happened was someone went off track, not expecting me to be over there. I do want to add that the guy who spun me out, he ended up stopping and waiting for me to basically pass him up. I wasn't expecting that sportsmanship from him. Mid-race, I thought that he had just spun out just like me after he hit me, but he just happened to stop and let me by. Back to talking about last season, I only raced 28 races for season 4. Keep in mind I raced 320 races for the 2025 year. Don't ask me why iRacing doesn't wait until 2026 to start 2026 season 1. So basically, after a couple of bad races, I had to time trial my way to save my SR so I didn't get my A license taken away from me. After that, I flirted with ovals because I didn't have anything to lose since I only had a rookie license at the time and managed to do a couple races, but then fell in the same pitfall of just doing other stuff and just backing away from sim racing. Anyway, back to the race right here, coming up to a back marker. They're slowing me down a bit, gotta find an opportunity to pass them by. I find it. Unfortunately, the guy in second has also found a great opportunity to catch up to me. Keep in mind that the guy in P2 is the same guy who knocked me out earlier, and then even on lap 1 we had a little bit of an incident where on that same turn I may have not given him enough room, so he went off course for a bit and lost like some ground, so he was pretty quick. Taking a view behind us, and we have a big ol' smack, and that was part of the risk of coming back down here to rookies, was because this was another great way to lose SR. Take the defensive line, and I'm able to maintain first place. Back to talking about my racing for this season. I did do one GT3 race. It didn't go that well. Lost a bunch of SR. Was on the verge of losing my A license again. Tried doing some time trials. Wasn't gaining as much progress as I wanted to try to get a good enough safety rating. So I figured, hey, let's just do some rookie races, see what could happen. Decided to put my A license on the line there, since rookies is pretty notorious for some dumb behavior, but I figured, hey, if I qualify high, just keep my nose clean, I should be able to farm some SR hopefully. Before this race I did 3 other rookie races and got 2 second places and a top 5 finish, so that also helped kind of boost my IR a bit. It definitely helps that I'm basically racing against a bunch of rookies, so that does help as far as the IR part of the farming, but that really wasn't the goal. It was just to try to farm SR. Anyway, back to this race over here, and as you can see, he is not letting me go. We're gonna go for another battle for P1 here. This guy is pretty quick. If you do count the laps where you have a track incident, he did technically have the fastest lap of the session, but he had an off-track incident, so it didn't count for fastest lap. Anyway, here we are. I have the defensive line. He brakes early and then goes for a late dive over here, and we make a contact, and I just go on my merry way. Unfortunately, I did not return the sportsmanship he gave to me. Here's a replay of what happened. In order to try and counter my defensive line, he brakes early, so I go by a bit, and then he goes for a very late dive, and he just goes in way too fast and can't complete the turn, and then gets knocked out by me. Here's my cockpit view. It doesn't show in the replay, but I do have a virtual rear view mirror, so I did see him going into this turn. I did try to give some room, but he just went in too fast. Here's some footage from the lap before, where I had a successful defense, and where I turned a lot tighter because I didn't have him coming onto my inside. So there's my evidence right there, in case you think that I was just going to just knock him out because he tried to take P1 from me. After that incident, I only had a little under 2 laps to complete, got it done, and was able to keep first place and get the win. Obviously there is that caveat of the sportsmanship that the guy who I was fighting with for P1 gave me. I didn't know that at the time. If I had known that, then I probably would have stayed behind and let him get back on his feet. This will still get counted as a win. I did exchange a few words with the driver who I was battling for P1 with. While the race could have been a lot cleaner, overall it's just I made some mistakes, he made some mistakes, nothing real malicious between any of us, so all's well that ends well. As for my plans for this season, in addition to GT3 racing, I'm going to make sure to sprinkle in a healthy amount of M2 racing. I enjoy the races, I enjoy the car, and I do enjoy that unlike the GT3 racing, it's pretty easy to get into a lobby for M2 racing just due to having less of a downtime between sessions, unlike GT3 racing where you have 2-hour wait times for GT3 series. Hopefully with this detox I've overcome my imposter syndrome. All that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I wish you all a great rest of your day, and as always, happy racing.